What's up, baby? This your boy Deontay Wilder, man. I wanna give a big shout out to all my fans at Chicken Talk.
In Minnesota, and Chicken Talk is the hottest thing going on for podcasts. Chicken Talk is the best ever. Chicken Talk, everybody knows about Chicken Talk anywhere around.
If you say shout out to Chicken Talk, let them know.
Shout out to Chicken Talk, man.
Yeah.
It's your boy Steph. I got Virgil here. So, hey, shout out to Chicken Talk on Twitter, man. Do your thing out there. Yeah, appreciate you, baby.
What's up? It's David Benavides here. I just want to give a shout out to Chicken Talk. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
MVO and Chicken Shop, how we doing? Hope all is well.
What up,
What's up, Left? What's going on, man?
Busy boxing.
Yeah, been a busier week than expected. I wasn't even assigned to cover the Tank and Ryan Garcia stuff. We had 3 other reporters on that, and yet I still have still had no time in my hands this week.
Yeah. So what's good? What's the what you want to lead off with today?
I mean, we can start with the Tank Ryan stuff if you want. We can start with Fury Usyk. I saw you had Haney and Lomachenko. I'm not sure what was reported yesterday is necessarily an update other than ruling out Saudi Arabia, but the fight always seemed like it was destined to go to Vegas. So I don't know. I just thought it was a weird update.
Well, I know that Haney had tweeted out war coming soon, so I figured.
Right. Yeah, so
right.
We could just start there. May 20th was always the date. Haney, he was at the Tommy Fury Jake Paul fight, and he made everyone there seemed to make a point to mention that they would love to fight there. So it did seem like Saudi Arabia was a viable alternative to Las Vegas, but Top Rank has always had a hold for the MGM Grand for May 20th. There was a point where Top Rank and TGB actually had a hold for the same day. Obviously, TGB was targeting either Spence and Keith Thurman, or maybe even, I still don't know where Pollo and Rolly Romero was going to land, but obviously it's taking place at the same time. But TGB eventually removed their hold. The commission, just ruled that said they were going to go with Top Rank. So TGB removed their hold. So it seemed like it was always going to take place in Vegas. I just feel like they were shopping the most lucrative option because it's an expensive fight for them. So, and especially since it's going to be in Vegas, it's going to be an ESPN pay-per-view. So that's pretty much where I was at.
I forgot. I want to start the show off with telling everybody, go to my profile and my pinned tweet, retweet that, and like it. And at the end of the show, we will pick a winner for a free $5 bet from FanDuel. Whichever way you want to do it, just DM me and I'll put the bet in for you on FanDuel. It has to be on FanDuel. So you get all your money. So everybody know that Ray would testify to and T-Word and a couple other people testify to the fact that I'm not no thief. Okay. Okay. And so you said Saudi Arabia is definitely not ruled out?
Well, I would say it's like a 1% chance at this point. It's almost certain to land in Vegas at this point. That's, I guess the major update is Saudi Arabia has been all but ruled out. So it's most likely, I've always believed it was going to be at the MGM Grand. I know it's going to be at an MGM property because they're the ones who ruled that they were going to go with a Top Rank event. And it was significant because I know PBC was looking to was flirting with the idea of staging an event in Vegas. But if you do something 1 week, you can't. I think there's like a 14-day span where you can't compete. So Top Rank getting to hold on to that date in Vegas, was always kind of key.
Yeah. So when do you think what's the hold up, or when will Spence and Thurman be announced?
So I always thought it seemed like there was a point where I guess whatever terms were communicated to Keith Thurman, he was like, whatever, just give me the fight. That fight, I guess, is still not on paper yet. So I don't even know if it's still going to take place May 27th at this point. It will, to my knowledge, it will take place barring a drastic change in opponent for Spence, but it could be a little later.
A little later, like not May.
Maybe a week or two. Yeah.
A week or two later. So maybe early June.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Still Vegas?
No,
or
I
maybe
don't know. I don't even know if Vegas was the absolute destination for that fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to see that fight land at Barclays Center personally.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be too
Yeah, I
bad.
mean, Keith Thurman has always done well there. I think Spence actually did well when he fought. I don't remember the ticket sales, but he's well received in Brooklyn when he fights there. So
Who did he fight in Barclays?
he who was it? Didn't he fight Lamont Peterson there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
yeah. Because I know he also fought in Coney
Hmm.
Island. He literally fought down the block from where I grew up, but that was like at the amphitheater on a rainy day,
Yeah,
just as the Olympics ended. Yeah, that was his other fight. He also fought, I believe, Chris Algieri in Brooklyn as well at Barclays.
yeah.
Yes. So, but I mean, wherever Spence goes, he's good. You know, I think he would sell well, even if it was his first fight. He would still sell very well there. Obviously, he's a big draw in Dallas, but he's done that enough times. He can always go back to that.
Yeah. I mean, well, a couple of people think that maybe he and Crawford are in G1 classified negotiations, secret negotiations. But tomorrow will be a week until the purse bid is called for Crawford versus Rocha. We have a week to go. Any updates on that with Golden Boy and Crawford?
I don't know where they're at in terms of putting together. I know Oscar wants to be in the Terence Crawford business, and as he told reporters in New York and LA, he believes that he's the one that once he gets Crawford, he can deliver the Errol Spence fight to him. I don't know why he believes that. He said a lot of weird things this week. I go back to what I said last week. I think it's in Crawford's best interest to have a good working relationship with a major promoter. I think Golden Boy could at least feed him enough welterweights, especially, if Virgil Ortiz beats Stanionis. I think that's a huge fight for Golden Boy to deliver to the zone. So I don't see any problems with him fighting Alexis Rocha next. I firmly believe we're going to get that fight.
Yeah, but I'm saying, are we going to get it through a purse bid or actual
I don't think we'll go to a purse, but
negotiation?
I think they'll find a way to get it done. It seemed like they were always on the same page. I don't know if it was just a matter of Golden Boy wanting more out of Crawford. But, I mean, it kind of doesn't matter because Rocha's going to get the title fight anyway. So, but I think the working relationship is already there to where they could just reach a deal. But, like you said, we'll find out. I mean, the 19th is a Sunday, so it'll probably, well, then again, the WBO has done business on weekends. So maybe we do get that update by next Sunday.
Okay. I mean, we thought they were on the same page with Spence too, so I guess it's a wait and see.
Right. Well, this one, Crawford really, there's no. I mean, like I said, if he doesn't agree, then yeah, we'll go to purse bid. So it's not like the Spence fight where he just decided to walk away, where he doesn't have that option here. If he's going to walk away, he's going to have to give up his title.
Okay. So another one, Davis Garcia. Were you able to? Anybody that was able to get tickets? Because I only saw like 3 people able to get tickets.
No, not at all. Yeah, that all sold out very, very quickly. So I think you're the one who even put it out there. That's for the way they had it mapped out. We're probably looking at about a $21 million gate. So.
Yeah, with these damn resellers.
Right. So I do wonder, like, just how many were purchased just for the sake of putting on the secondary market. And like I said, they were spooked off enough to not put it at Allegiant Stadium. But we'll see. It's not a surprise that they go this route. Plenty of fights have done that before. So.
Yeah, I was actually, I just wanted to buy the tickets to resell them.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't trying to go. I've already started planning a pay-per-view party.
I gotcha. Yeah, pay-per-view party there, and then we'd be in Dallas the next week. Or Arlington.
Yeah, Arlington next week. Anybody going to Arlington for the Virgil Ortiz Spence fight? Make sure y'all DM me, hit me up, so I can give you the details of Friday night. It looks like it's going to cost about $30 per person to get for the activities we had planned Friday night. And if they actually do have a Fury versus Usyk fight on that same day, early in the day, we gonna meet up and watch that fight, probably in my hotel room or somewhere, because the hotel got a bar, and I can bring my lefty flex. Right. So. All right. Anyway, speaking of the Fury Usyk, now is that looking forward to going on that date, April 29th?
Yeah. So look, I saw what Fury tweet. Well, I guess we put it on Instagram that Friday morning. So I wrote a story on that. Then the WBA told me they were going to announce Usyk Dubois. I'm like, all right, great. We finally got an update, because like Fury, all the bullshit that he said, there was no deadline. Just he was going to start deducting money from Usyk's offered purse or whatever if he didn't agree to terms. For every day he didn't agree to terms. And the WBA said, no, there is a deadline. If you guys don't get this done by today, we're going to order Usyk to fight Daniel Dubois in the title consolidation bout. I just think they're buying time. I still don't believe. Look, if this fight does happen, I do not believe it's going to happen April 29th. And there's a big part of me that doesn't believe this fight is going to happen, at least not next.
Hold on. Run that back. You said you don't think the fight's going to happen next?
I do not. I definitely don't believe it's going to happen April 29th. I think what they did was just they got, they submitted what they had to the WBA to just buy more time.
Oh,
So
okay.
they both told the WBA, yeah, we're going to agree, we agreed on the split, which is kind of ridiculous. It's like, I don't know. I mean, the WBA bought it, so they don't want to be the ones to break up the undisputed fight if there is a chance of it happening. So both sides are telling them there is a chance. Look, I'm going to say this. You can argue that Fury did call Usyk's bluff. Usyk knows he's not going to make anywhere close, fighting Dubois than he will, no matter what percentage he takes to fight Fury. It's still going to be way more than he will get to fight Dubois.
True.
So, and he's got, look, of his mandatories, I think the only one I would outright pick him is against Hrgović. I would pick a lot of heavyweights against Hrgović at this point. I'm not as down on Dubois as others. I think Dubois is very dangerous. Usyk is hittable. I would probably pick Joe Joyce to beat Usyk at this point. I don't, as time goes on, I'd probably be more comfortable picking Usyk. But there's a chance that Usyk could lose before he gets to Fury. So it's in his best interest to take the fight. I applaud him for, standing his ground as long as he did. But there is a point where you have to realize, if you want to make the most money, then you just got to take, Frank Warren holds the cards here. So if he doesn't fight, Fury, he's going to fight Dubois. I don't know if he can find a way to sneak in Joe Joyce later or whatever, but it's in Usyk's best interest to take this fight. So Fury showed, he did, a massive attendance for a third fight with Derek Chisora that nobody outside of whoever attended that fight really seemed to want to watch. So Fury's going to put in numbers no matter who he fights, at least, as long as he's stuck in England and he can't fight in the U.S. until he rats out Daniel Kinahan. So, but regardless, whoever he's going to fight, he's going to make a big payday. Usyk does not have that same option. And also, Fury doesn't have a mandatory challenger either. Usyk has 3. So his options are very limited and specific.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But all that said, yeah, I'm just very doubtful that we see this fight April 29th. And it's weird because they're talking about, like, if it doesn't happen April 29th, then it could get pushed out. Now you're going to push it closer to your own pay-per-view because this fight will be an ESPN pay-per-view. Top Rank is already doing that May 20th. So I don't even know how well Haney Lomachenko is going to. I think it'll do well maybe at the gate. I don't think it's going to be a very successful pay-per-view, much less ESPN running 2 inside of a month.
On top of
everything that PBC is going on. Yeah, right. Garcia, Davis.
Is Canelo? No, I'm talking about the Canelo fight. Is that supposed to be a pay-per-view?
They have yet to declare. They're teasing that it could just be on DAZN. And again, that would justify their, ridiculous price hike. But they have yet to declare that that'll be a DAZN pay-per-view. But that is a very flooded market. Even without that, we still have a lot of pay-per-views. And, Davis Garcia in the heart of all that is, in my opinion, going to impact all the other pay-per-views that are out there, including Benavidez Plant.
Well, I think the fact that he has 3 mandatories really makes him really want to get this fight done. Yeah. That's why I think it'll be next because, Dubois fight, okay. Right. He beat Dubois. But the Hrgović fight, it would be like an absolute disaster.
Yes.
Who's going to pay for that?
Right, yeah.
Where do you put it? Who's going to pay for it? And there's like really zero interest in that fight.
Yeah, Matt True. It's almost like Top Rank what they had with Janibek, where it's like you're almost daring the defending champion to either fight you or give up the title, but of the belief that the guy's going to give up the title. Similar to, what I said last week, what I thought was going to happen with Golovkin and Arizona Lara, that one side was just waiting for the other to give up a belt. So I think that's going to be the same thing with Hrgović. I don't see Matchroom or Wasserman ever plunking down enough cash to get control of that fight. So again, that's another fight where Usyk's just going to have to settle for whatever highest bidder is willing to put on it.
Yeah. So, that was a weird situation with Golovkin. Is Golovkin planning on retiring?
No, he's definitely playing. John Hornwer, his attorney and the attorney for GG Promotions, he told me that he definitely wants to fight. He just wants the most lucrative option possible. Again, I don't know why they just wouldn't negotiate a deal with PBC. I mean, yeah, maybe the Lara fight isn't sexy to him, but it could be the first of several. So I'd have to believe PBC would put up a lot of cash for him to fight Jamal Charlo, because I have to believe they certainly think Jamal Charlo would beat him at this point. So
did they try to negotiate, or was it just?
I got the sense that PBC showed interest in the fight. I'm not going to say, they're going to spend a lot of money on it, but they were interested in at least doing, like, if that was the option for Lara to upgrade his title however possible, if he had a fight, they were interested in it. I just never got the sense that Golovkin cared about it. I think he just wanted to be the highest bidder. Plus, there was also the issue that GGG Promotions isn't a registered promoter. So they wouldn't have been able to participate in the purse bid. I think that was a big issue with them, that they just didn't have any control of that fight once it went to purse bids.
Man, I don't know. My stance is always you run it to purse bid to at least see what you turn it down.
Right.
I don't, the same situation with Ramirez versus Regis. I mean, you just got to run it to purse bid and see what you turn it down before you turn it down. You never know who could step in there and overbid or something like, excuse me, like Regis last
Right.
fight.
Well,
when they stepped when Marv Nation stepped in and overbid everybody else. You just don't know. So at least let's see before you give up the belt.
Right.
Or turn down.
That's what happened with Demetrius Andrade. And in that case, he didn't give up a belt. He just gave up the opportunity to fight for an interim title, where he saw the very low purse bid and he decided, well, screw it. This fight was worth more 5 months ago than it is now. So he walked away from that.
Yeah.
So I agree. Golovkin could have waited until at least Monday. I don't know why. Yeah, whatever. Like, all the moves they made, they kept saying there was no interest in Falcao, but like, he was the one who created that fight. He could have settled this up with Lara 5 months ago. Going way back in October, actually, mid-September, right after the third Canelo fight. That's when this fight was ordered. He could have settled up that business way back then. He could have, found out what the Lara fight was worth, given up the WBA belt, then go on to Falcao. But instead, the Falcao thing taking up 4 months, nobody ever explained why that was the case.
Breaking up.
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's just ridiculous just how long he's held this, held up, 2 titles. So, but again, I mean, Falcao's had the opportunity now that there's, middling interest. Michael Zarafa now has the option to fight either Falcao for the IBF or Lara for the WBA, and he's waiting for the WBA to actually order that mandatory, because that's the fight he would rather take. And he actually is attempting to get the IBF first bid postponed just to see if there is a pathway to fight Lara next.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. All for not.
Right.
Just not a lot of this shit doesn't make any sense.
No.
Another one. So how do you see that? Do you see the possibility of being Lara versus Danny Garcia? Danny Garcia.
So it doesn't sound like they have that fight on paper yet. I always believed that fight was going to happen, especially when Danny Garcia got ranked however many months ago, despite never fighting at middleweight. So there is an opportunity for that fight to take place, but it's clear that, the WBA doesn't have any paperwork saying that fight is going to happen if they went ahead and ordered this fight, and especially if they go ahead and order the Michael Zarafa fight. So if PBC plans to do that next, they have to let the WBA know this is the fight that's next. At least put something in, even if not a contract. Just send them an email saying, these two have agreed to terms. This is the fight Lara wants next. You originally promised us a voluntary fight, so just let us go ahead and take this fight. Because otherwise, I don't know what option is out there for Danny Garcia. Because I know Showtime said he is going to be on the summer schedule. But
okay, and Danny wanted that fight at 157.
Yeah, like 155, I think.
155?
I believe so. I don't know if that's like a hard weight. That's the weight he mentioned, and he and Keith Thurman both made a point, to say that Lara, was willing to fight either one of them at that specific weight. So. This goes all the way back to, Richie Schaefer, putting it out there a long time ago that Canelo would fight Floyd Mayweather at whatever weight he wanted, and Floyd called that bluff. Danny Garcia, he has the right to hold Lara to that as well.
Okay. Well, a fight that you were on the beat for, and you wrote an article for 5 days ago, was date location for the best fight on the boxing calendar, Fulton versus Inoue.
So I can just forget that part. But yeah, so they are fighting May 7th. Again, this speaks to just how much of a badass Stephen Fulton is. He's not just fighting in Japan. He's now fighting in Inoue's hometown. So the fight's going to take place at the Yokohama Arena in Yokohama, Japan. Inoue's hometown. It's where Inoue, I don't know if anyone remembers, there's that iconic knockout of Juan Carlos Payano where he's waving his arms. That's where that fight took place. So yeah, it's I'm glad that fight is taking place. That's a beautiful boxing weekend. We don't look the Canelo John Ryder fight is what it is, but the fact that Canelo is fighting and then Stephen Fulton and Inoue are fighting all within less than a 24-hour span, maybe even less than a 12-hour span. I mean, that's a huge weekend for boxing.
Super huge,
Right.
huge. So I saw that Ryder did say that he signed his end of the deal to face Canelo. Is his end of the deal in Mexico?
I saw someone post that that Matchroom has a hold on. I think it was SoFi Stadium where the Chargers play. I do believe it's going to be in Mexico. All signs seem to point to that. And anyone who is supposed to be targeted to fight on the undercard, all seem to believe they're heading to Mexico on May 6th.
And who are those targeted on that?
Steve Spark is one. I'm actually working on a story on that. We're talking about Fulton and Inoue. A lot of outlets misreported, the date, city, and venue for that. They've also misrepresented where Steve Spark is at in the IBF mandatory title eliminator situation. But anyway, Steve Spark is supposed to fight on the card. Gabriel Valenzuela is supposed to fight on the card. Makes sense they would probably fight each other, but they're both supposed to be on there, and both of their camps have indicated that the fight's going to take place in Mexico. But that could.
But didn't the sanctioning body just order
No.
Steve Sparks to face him? You said no?
So outlets reported that no. So they're still in the invitation process. So Ergashev has still accepted the invitation to enter negotiations with the next highest available challenger to fight for a title eliminator to become Matias's mandatory. That same letter was sent to Jack Catterall, who declined it because he's in negotiations with Regis Prograis. Then it was sent to Liam Parrow, who declined it because he's still injured. I forget the order, but Teofimo Lopez and Jose Ramirez are both in there, and they obviously have fights coming up. So now it goes to Steve Spark, who has until Monday to accept the invitation to enter a negotiation. So the fight has not been ordered. The IBF has a very specific process with doing these eliminators. So they don't want to order 30-day negotiations to find out the guy doesn't want to fight. They want it done in 3 to 5 days. So in this case, 3. So once Steve Spark likely declines the offer, it'll go to Andy Hiraoka, who is a stablemate of Naoya Inoue. I'm told his team is interested in that fight or any other that positions him toward the title. And to me, that would be a great fight to put on the Fulton Inoue undercard. So I do believe that's the path we will get. But no, Steve Spark has not been ordered to next face Ergashev. He's been invited to enter negotiations for that fight.
Okay.
Right. And I'm going to say this, not to throw people under the bus, but the same people who reported that also reported that Fulton and Inoue were fighting May 23rd, and they based it off a Google search.
Okay. I mean, well, look, when people are excited and thirsty for news, we go to extreme lengths to
I get that, but there's too many outlets out there that are just so desperate to be first and, want to break every story. So sometimes you just got to sit back and find out what's right.
That is true. That is very true.
By my own editor for not submitting Fury Usyk in time, just because I knew what was being reported wasn't entirely true. But
tell Keith to come holler at me.
No, Keith was definitely not the problem. No, Keith is my buffer. Keith is my savior. Definitely not Keith.
Okay, have you heard any news on the Davis Garcia undercard?
Just William Zepeda. Fuck it, I'm going to put it out there. I'm almost positive we're going to see David Morrell on the undercard as well.
Yeah, somebody did tell us earlier this week.
Okay.
I don't know if she in here. And MC in the ring, she named several fights that seem plausible on the undercard.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that's why Morrell is not fighting on the June 24th Armory card. That they bumped him up. I don't know if it's going to be Uskatagi or some other middle contender.
Yeah, I think that's what she reported.
Yeah.
Uskakis, whatever her name is. And she reported, what was the other fight she reported? I can't remember now, but she said Zepeda. She reported a couple of fights that sounded Zepeda against a guy. Man, I got to look this up. Man, somebody, if y'all remember, DM me the name she reported because it sounded plausible. I can't think of it now. It's frustrating me. Usyk Cruz against the guy who fought. Hold up, somebody's texting me. It was Usyk Cruz against some guy, against the guy that beat Gabe Flores.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm drawing a blank on that, but
that's Giovanni Cabrera.
Ooh,
yeah, Giovanni Cabrera.
That's interesting.
She said that fight was on.
Okay,
which sounds plausible.
Yeah, Cruz was supposed to originally headline a Showtime card, but that obviously changed. So I don't know for certain that he would be on the card, but it makes a lot of sense. To me, his perfect fit is to be like a pay-per-view co-feature. So I wish he was fighting William. Wish he was fighting
until he
Williams
fights Frank
Right.
Martin.
I wish he was fighting Williams Zepeda, but obviously that's not happening without a title.
So does Frank Martin have a fight coming up? Because he was in the gym when they posted a video of AJ in the gym.
I have not heard that he's going to be on that card. And every other Showtime undercard seems to be spoken for through May. So unless he's just waiting on the Spence date, I don't have a firm update on him.
Yeah. Put him on there with him versus De Los Santos. Let's see that.
Yeah, I'd love to see. I was going to say, not that, Cruz is ducking anyone, but if he's not fighting someone like De Los Santos, there's been several names that he could have fought that he's not. So there's no way in hell he's fighting Frank Martin. Not without a belt.
Yeah, exactly. What else we got? We did Haney, Lomas, Fury, Davis. What else was in the news?
So this wasn't in the news. I'm actually going to write the story later, but the WBA is now taking a wait and see approach with, because the WBC got called out for why they're allowing Spence Thurman to take place above the 147-pound limit when Keith Thurman is the mandatory. So now the WBA has been challenged on why they're allowing, Davis Garcia to take place in 136 when they haven't yet ordered a title consolidation bout. So now their stance is they're going to wait out those two fights. They said they're going to wait out Davis Garcia, but actually they're going to have to wait out Haney Lomachenko to see who wins that. And then they claim they're going to order a title consolidation bout next. Especially if Haney wins, I don't believe that's going to happen. I believe the WBA is just going to find a way to stall it, let Haney move up, and then Tank, it doesn't matter whether he beats Ryan Garcia or not because he'll still have the belt, but I think he'll just get upgraded to full champion. And then we'll see Tank and Frank Martin sometime later this year.
I mean, so what do these people want? Do they want lesser fights just because it's got a fucking belt attached to it? Do you want? I don't understand what these people want. They want lesser fights,
right? So I don't know. That's where the WBA is at. So they're gonna, like I said, they're gonna take a wait and see approach with that. So
yeah. Well, we got what we got. So deal.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this again, like assuming I think a lot of us are of the belief that Devin Haney will beat Lomachenko. I just don't know how. I know it's financially worth it for him to stay at 135. I just don't know if it's physically the best move for him to remain at this weight. But if he can make that weight, then yeah, why not? Obviously, the Gervonta Davis fight is going to dwarf any other fight, any other payday he can get. So why not go for that? But I just don't believe that, once he beats.
We did get a report from Mr. MVO on scene at the Davis Garcia press conference in New York City, in between his sandwiches, where he told us that should Gervonta Davis be triumphant against Ryan Garcia, and should Devin Haney be triumphant against Lomachenko, that word on the curb is that they will offer Devin Haney a fight. You want to tell us about that, Mr.?
Yeah, so sources who shall remain nameless because this is recorded. First, they told me that PBC sent out scouts to Australia for the Kambosos Haney rematch, just because they wanted to see live and up close what this guy looks like in his current state, and they are very interested in making Haney versus Tank Davis in the year of 2023. And I heard this from a very reliable source.
Were you in between your sandwich run, right? Did they grab you and say, hey, stop going to the buffet table?
I'm not going to lie to you. I did have like 6 sandwiches, Lefty. I'm not going to lie to you, man. But I did have a Diet Coke. I had a Diet Coke. But yeah, as I had food dripping on my shirt, they did grab me and say, hey, listen, you got to hear this. And, I was able to let you guys know right after I heard it. And, it's funny to me, a lot of you guys poo-pooed it. For some reason, you guys don't think Tank want that smoke. But if I recall, when Tank was on Chicken Talk, Tank told you that Devin Haney was on his hit list. And I think that the chirping back and forth, you're starting to see the machinations going into place for this matchup to happen. So I'm telling you, when it happens in 2023, remember where you heard it first.
I just don't see the WBA actually ordering the fight. That's
where I'm at on that. I don't doubt that Tank wants to fight anybody. I don't see him allowing the WBA to dictate to him. Because especially if that goes to a first bid, that lowers his earning potential in that fight. Now, granted, that's a fight where Tank against any lightweight should be the A side. So, but Tank being dictated to, especially PBC being dictated to in that situation, to me, that would be the deal breaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, did you see the Benavidez versus
I have not
Caleb
watched
Plant?
that. I was going to watch that before the fight tonight. So.
Well, our girl had made an appearance, and she's a movie star. She's a star now.
Who?
You know what I'm talking about?
Emily?
Oh, Emily was on there?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought
you
you were talking
remember?
about Raging Babe.
No. Emily made a short cameo at the beginning of the. You remember when she posted that video of them arguing?
Yes. Oh, you can see her in there.
Yeah.
That's
a
hilarious.
very short cameo. You got to kind of turn your head to the side and look to the corner. Jake,
Yes.
Are you at the airport?
No, I'm on the street. I'm trying to make a right now.
Because it sounds like planes are landing behind.
Nah, it's just cars driving.
You got anything else, or are you ready?
We're ready for
Q&A.
Nah, definitely ready for Q&A.
Okay.
So I will say Emily deserves as much screen time as she. I mean, the work she does for that whole Benavidez camp. I mean, it's she's the MVP of that team.
Yeah. So when you see them arguing, cock your head to the side and squint one eye, and you can see her holding up the phone. All right, Mr. J Bro, you're first up, sir.
Not a DM question.
Yeah,
What's up, man?
Nah, I just want to confirm what you just said. You said if they wait for Haney to give the belt, Tank gets upgraded,
right?
And you think it's gonna be Frank Martin at the end of the year?
I've always believed that PBC was grooming, especially like whoever won Martin Rivera. I believe they were grooming the winner of that fight to eventually, become a viable option for Tank at some point. So, and Frank Martin obviously is that guy. So.
Tank fighting a black guy that's not a star?
Well, maybe he become a star after fighting on the Spence undercard against De Los Santos or someone. All right, Marshy, go ahead.
How you doing, Jake? How you doing,
Doing well, Marshy. How are you?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask. Eddie Earn done an interview, I think it was earlier this morning in Liverpool or something. He said that there's supposed to be an announcement tonight on their design broadcast about a fight. I just wondered if you knew what that was.
I did not see the interview. There are all these announcements for an announcement. I don't know if it'd be an update on Katie Taylor's next fight. I honestly don't know.
Canelo?
That would make sense. I mean, because they have to get that out there eventually. So, because they're already within it.
Who do you think it is, Marshy? What's your opinion, Marshy?
I think it's going to be Katie Taylor and Chantel Cameron.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I just had one more. He also said that he's got a couple of more cards that he's going to be announcing over the next couple of weeks or something. Have you heard any rumors on any of them?
I know there's supposed to be a show, I think in late May. I don't know if it's going to be like a trade show or a relevant fight. And he also, I knew he was, once Callum Smith got injured, obviously the push was going to be to, for him to get better BF, but that would be later this summer. I know he's got pie in the sky about bringing that fight to Liverpool. Top Rank wants to put that fight in Canada. I do believe it will wind up in Canada, especially given Matchroom's track record at for first bids these days.
Marshy, before you go, let me ask you a question, Marshy. You came on the show, you greeted Jake, you greeted Lefty. You didn't greet me. What's going on here, Marshy?
I just forgot.
Okay.
Sorry, mate.
All right.
Sorry.
Just checking.
Sorry.
All right.
He know you racist against British people, so he ignored you. All right, Mitchell. But before Mitchell go, remember if you go to my profile and hit the pin tweet and retweet it, later on before the show ends, we'll be giving away a free $5 bet on FanDuel. Your bet of your choice. You can do a 300 play parlay. I don't care. I don't care how you bet. I'm not gonna give you no advice. But it's a free $5 bet. All right, go ahead, Mitchell.
I just wanted to ask, honestly, I feel like a bit of a loser asking this question, but about Maxie Hughes versus Kambosos.
Yes.
I'd heard something about William Zepeda versus Maxie Hughes being looked at for the Tank Davis Garcia card. What happened with that? Not that Maxie Hughes is some big mover, but he's been linked with the decent amount of highly ranked names over the last year or so.
Yeah. I've always heard Maxie Hughes' name like loosely mentioned, but the one that always had the stronger rumors was the Kambosos fight in Australia. So I don't know. I never really heard a firm opponent for Zepeda, just that he was always going to be on the show.
Hey, Mitchell.
Okay.
If you have a question about Maxie
Ken
Hughes, just DM him. Okay.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Look, I realized that as it was coming out of my mouth, it was a fucking
No,
stupid
it wasn't stupid.
But
It's a good question.
more
I was
importantly,
interested as well.
Gary Antoine, there's been a lot of talk about like whether he turned down the Puello fight, whether it was ever offered. Is there any clarity on what happened with that? But also why Kent Cruz was the opponent rather than someone more known?
Okay, this is the version I was always told. I don't know if it's the true version, but this is the one I was led to believe by multiple sources. That the fight was always there for Gary Antoine Russell, to the point where Barroso was willing to step aside, specifically because they believed Russell was going to fight Puello next. Then when it came to the WBA convention, 2 fights were revealed. One, the WBA was of the belief that Puello was fighting Rolly Romero. And then I forget if it was Puello's promoter or Barroso's promoter that stepped up and said, no, he's fighting Gary Antoine Russell. Then the WBA corrected it and said, fine, Puello Russell, and then the winner gets Barroso. I went to PBC, to several people at PBC. I said, hey, what's going on with this, Gary Russell fight? And they all told me fake news. So there's one side that said PBC wanted to slow down Gary Russell. The other side that said Gary Russell just wasn't interested in the fight next. So take that for what it's worth. I saw Gary Russell, he had an interview and said, that Puello is behind him, which I think is ridiculous. But the option was there for him to take the fight. And for whatever reason, he's not fighting Puello next.
Okay. Would you like to expand on that, Jay Beasy, since you have a close relationship with the Russell family?
Well, in reference to that, that statement was a follow-up after, our interview. The interview was early February, and that statement came like weeks later. So that's why that particular statement was posted, because initially when the interview was done, that was like not that long after that Puello Rolly fight was pretty much like announced via news. So that's where that came from. The other thing is,
hold up, and tell them where they can watch the video, your interview with him.
That is still available on the Boxing Source YouTube channel, so you could find it there. Okay. Second, I am considering firing MVO as a secondary correspondent to the Boxing Source, because that particular information that he just provided should have been stated on the Boxing Source midweek report that took place yesterday.
Get him, JB.
Okay. Yeah. So in between all of those sandwiches that he ate, which I am partly responsible for, he should have been able to provide.
I would like to point out that when we did the Boxing Source program, I was drunk. I am sober right now, so now I remember.
No, listen, this man has been drunk about 5 of the 6 days during the week, including the last Boxing Source radio show podcast. So take that for what it's worth, okay? The other thing for Jake, this is a reference to Fury versus Usyk. You were talking about you see it being unlikely that the fight will happen on April 29th. If that is the case, and if you say that it's also likely that they won't be fighting each other next, how much media scrutiny do you expect to come at those two fighters or those two teams for not making it next?
I think anyone who actually was dead set about seeing this fight next should go after them, should empty their clips. I personally, I don't know. Like, to me, the fight is just, to me, it speaks volumes that more people have been talking about Tank and Ryan Garcia than they're talking about the undisputed heavyweight championship. I mean, it's a strange state of affairs in boxing when that is the case, but that's where we're at. I just don't think the fight is never going to be any bigger. It's just kind of there to me. So, but yeah, if you would, I know this fight is huge in the UK. I think the UK media should absolutely blast everyone. I know Fury did take a lot of heat from a lot of outlets, but that's why I wrote what I did yesterday. It just got to a point of complete buffoonery. Like, even Spence and Crawford never resorted to any of this. They fucked up the bag, but they didn't deliver the fight, but they didn't resort to the nonsense we have now. We have the leading heavyweight fighters in the world acting like complete idiots and have yet to deliver a fight. They claim they agreed to terms, but It's just ridiculous. So fortunately, they're not the face of the sport. If they were, then it'd be a complete embarrassment.
Yeah, so that means once again, guys, do not buy anything that Mike Coppinger has posted.
Okay.
And I'm going to say this:
all
a
right.
month ago, look, not to shit on ESPN, but I mean, I enjoy the state of boxing, like for when they have the back and forth. But as far as like reporting news, their track record is awful. Like they were the ones who said that Fury was on board all along, and they were waiting on Usyk. And we know now. I mean, that's complete bullshit.
True. Well, good thing nobody watches this show. Go ahead, Lex.
Yo, what's good, y'all? While we're on the topic of 140, do you know? And I may have missed it, but did you say anything about Regis, Teofimo, and Josh Taylor? Did you give any updates there or no?
Well, Josh, I know Lefty doesn't believe it, but Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez are fighting June 10th in New York City, assuming Josh Taylor's allowed to come to the U.S. Regis, I was told.
Well, I didn't say I don't
Yes,
believe
you
it.
did.
I said I think there's more. No. I said I think there's more at play there that's not being explored.
You said the same people who told us we were getting Fury Joshua are going to fall into the same trap with whatever contract Boxer has, right? Am I wrong on that?
No. I said I think whatever situation Boxer had is worth looking into.
I agree,
and I mean because maybe they make the situation with Catterall and Regis as a concession,
right?
But I'm just saying, like, I didn't think that we should just ignore that we should just ignore it. But because they got to get a fight one way or the other, so maybe go ahead and make the Regis Catterall fight, and then as far as Josh Taylor being able to enter the United States, I have no idea about that. But I'm pretty sure there's no way you're gonna schedule this fight not knowing he can't.
That's what I'm saying. Top Rank made that fight of the belief that that nothing's blocking Josh Taylor from coming here. So.
My thing was always the Boxer thing.
No, I get that. No, I get it. If they claim they have paperwork on it, that's fine. But they waited until Kopp went ahead and reported what he did. And as I said on several other shows, I heard the same thing, that there was like a certain whatever clause in the contract that was the out for Taylor to get out of that fight. So, but Catterall is in negotiations with Regis Prograis. I don't believe they're close. I'm not going to say they're far apart, but they're not close on whatever money they need to make that fight happen. And it would be a voluntary fight, so it's not like the WBC can go ahead and order it.
Okay.
So did that answer everything?
Did I ask your question, Lex? I know he I don't know if you said earlier, but he said Regis was in negotiation with Catterall.
Yeah, I missed it. I jumped in. I was jumping in and out. I missed it. My bad.
Fine. No, that's cool. But that's where we're at, though, with that. So, again, and that's a fight where if it doesn't happen, it just won't happen. It's not like the WBC can order it unless they suddenly name Catterall as the man that's for it.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Niebuhr.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hope all is well. Any news on Errol Spence?
Yeah, we covered that earlier, but
oh shit, I got to coach.
You're
My
fine.
bad.
The target date was May 27th. I believe it's going to get pushed back. That's like the briefest recap I can. So, and
is he injured still?
No, I don't believe he's injured. I don't think that's the reason why. It just, for whatever reason, it's just not going to happen that weekend anymore. Which is just why. I mean, the Memorial Day weekend pay-per-view is kind of rough.
So you guys are still not ready to concede that he's not fighting Thurman X?
No,
okay.
Absolutely not.
I just want to see him fight.
Not if we're getting back into he's going to fight Terence Crawford.
Yes.
No, I'm not getting.
Yes.
I am not getting dragged back into that.
I'm not doing that. I've been letting
I'm checked out with that. I'm perfectly fine.
All right, Jakey. Just remember you credit
Like
MVO.
Well, Matt, you have tomorrow will be a week from. They have a week to get the deal done before the purse bid is called. Right. So you have a week for your prediction to be proven true or not. So we will see this. The clock has started and the spotlight is on you, Matt. You will become the hero or you become the villain. I'm rooting for villain, personally. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ron.
Yo, what's up with y'all boys? Man, real quick. Oh, they're not going to concede because I'm the one who broke the Keith joint, so they don't want to admit that. But anyway, with Keith and Earl last year. But deal, what is Golden Boy and the Zone deal is looking like? Because I'm getting conflicting information from my sources and from the actual thing. Are they on a month-to-month deal? or is it like a year deal?
So I found,
You know?
yeah, I found their announcement very strange last year when they claimed it was a multi-year agreement between the two. I guess it's an agreement, but it's not like a deal where they own fights every month, because it seems like every month they're negotiating future dates. So you're
Exactly.
not far off with what you're saying. It's always up for review. It's a very strange arrangement.
It's wild. That's what I was like, because my man was like, they're getting year deal. I was like, no, it's month to month. Because my other source was like, they negotiate these fights every month. I've never heard of this shit before.
You know, as stupid as it
And my other
sounds,
thing
it
is
sounds like they have like a right to refusal, almost as if like Golden Boy progresses
exactly,
something. We'll see if we
but a
want it or
month
not.
to month though, god
Yeah,
damn.
a month instead of a lease. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. All right. My next thing is, this is the biggest thing. What does Rye contract look like?
What do you mean?
Like, what is his deal with Golden Boy? Because the way I'm looking at it, and this is sort of where I'm getting at, I think Rye is going to become a Showtime fighter, personally. Win, lose, or draw.
I got you. So Ryan is not tied to DAZN in any way. He did his best to make that, to drive home that point when it was reported otherwise. So Ryan's commitment to DAZN was always through Golden Boy. Ryan could fight on any platform he wants. So I would love, I don't care where he fights, but yeah, that'd be a fantastic arrangement, especially if he somehow beats Tank.
Right, but I think, so that's basically what I wanted. I sort of knew that already. I think Rye is going to be a Showtime fighter, and I think that's the reason why they pushing so hard for this fight. I personally think that's the long term game.
I'm kind of with you on that, and like I'm gonna take it a step further. I've always, especially when Golden Boy like went out of the way to declare that their dealing with DAZN was ending, I've always believed that at some point they're going to wind up as a whole back at Showtime.
Exactly. That's exactly that's basically I was getting at. All right,
and
cool.
I think,
We on the same page.
To me, if Golden Boy and Heyman can find a way to once again do business together, I think that's very, very dangerous for the sport.
That is the best move. That's one of the best moves.
Because I don't want people to misinterpret what you said, because you know how people love to misinterpret what's said on this show. When you say dangerous, you mean dangerous.
No, that they're gonna fucking run this
in a good way.
So when they would,
in a good way. That's a hell of a move.
Listen, we understand the context, but I'm telling you, people take 15-second clips and turn this shit into something that is not.
No,
I got you, bro. But that was my question.
They were at their peak. Like, they weren't just a competition for HBO; they were surpassing them. And it got to the point where, like, even once Floyd Pack finally happened, HBO kind of like they had a slow decline after that. But Showtime closed that gap in a hurry when Golden Boy and Heyman took their business over there. So I do believe that's where we'll get back to.
When AB was the man.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, BB.
With Gennady Golovkin relinquishing his titles and being relieved of his mandatory obligations, how likely is it in 2023 we finally see him fight Jaime Munguia?
I think that's a good enough. I'd have to imagine there's financial issues in that fight. You can't keep saying that every fight isn't, commercially viable. It's like, for what Gennady Golovkin wants, every fight is going to be, no fight is going to be commercially viable. So that, to me, would be the best option. It doesn't have to take place at 160. It could take place at whatever weight they're both comfortable at, and it's unfinished business. That was the fight that was supposed to happen way back when, and it actually led to Munguia becoming, the star he wasn't supposed to be. So I do believe we will see that fight, with or without a title. Obviously, without a title at this point. Again, with all the stuff that Oscar was saying about, we can do Charlo Munguia, it's like, dude, you had the fight in your hands last year. So whether it was Oscar that fucked it up or Zanfer that fucked it up, and I do believe it was Zanfer, they had that fight done already. So it's not that, we got this done with Tank and Ryan Garcia, that we can make that fight happen. You already had that shot. So.
Yeah, that was about as hilarious as Rick Majarian saying, let's do a 140-pound tournament that you had already turned down years ago.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Gritty.
What up, Left? What up, Jake? Greetings, Matthew. With that Fulton anyway coming up, I was looking at, it seemed like Neary is waiting for the winner of that fight, but also Ross Salim is trying to throw his name back in there, but he's calling out Neary now. Is that fight realistic to where they can fight each other, and then maybe the winner of that fight the winner of NUA Fulton?
So I know Rais Salim, there was another step to him getting to Neary. I don't know if he's still going to fight. Fuck, I forgot the guy's name. I think it's Alan David Picasso or something like that. But some young kid out of Mexico. I don't know why that fight wouldn't happen if it's there for him. I don't know if he's going to get to Neri next, but I know Neri does have the option to fight for whoever he wants. So he's worked with PBC, he's worked with Golden Boy. But I mean, if he's in line to fight the Fulton Inouye winner, I don't know.
Wouldn't be a fight that he'd take, you would think, like against Salim. If he can just wait and get that fight.
And I'm not. It just seems like nobody really wants to fight Raïs Salim. There's just not a lot of upside to fight, and it's a shame. I wish Raïs Salim was higher on the PBC totem pole to where he can get the fights that he wants. He totally deserves them. He's the guy over there that wants to fight everybody.
Of course, he want to fight everybody because he don't mean anything. When you have nothing to lose and you're just a guy, you want to fight everybody. Of course, if he was the one with the name value, he'll be acting the same way. Please.
That's how you get your name up.
Don't feel bad for none of these guys.
By actually fighting motherfuckers.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Also, Albert Bell seems to be another one that everybody's not too thrilled.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Bell versus.
So Albert Bell was supposed to fight
the winner of.
He was supposed to fight Archie Sharp at one point. I don't know why that fight never happened, but it was supposed to position him to at least be within one fight of fighting for an eliminator. His manager, he did the right thing. It just sucked that he couldn't get his way. But it just goes to show, how the sanctioning bodies, they're just not on your side. They should be ordering these tournaments, for guys like Albert Bell to get a shot. But and Vic, Vic Green begged for it, and all 4 sanctioning bodies turned him down.
Yeah,
I would not mind seeing Albert Bell retire. He's boring. You guys got to stop it.
Don't talk about my cousin like that.
The dude from Top Rank said that was the reason they released him because nobody wanted to fight him. They couldn't get him a fight. Yeah. So they let him go because nobody would.
Yeah, that's Bruce Shrimpler.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind seeing him versus the winner of Ray Ford and Mariaga. Is it Mariaga? He's fighting.
They're a division apart.
I thought. Hold on. What division is?
Yeah, I think Bill at 130 right now, right?
Yeah.
No, they're all at 130. They're all at 130.
Ray Ford's 126.
Ford at 126, right?
He's featherweight.
I thought he moved up.
Yeah, he 126. Yeah, he 120 because he's fighting for the belt. He should be fighting Laws.
Right.
See that? Lefty was arguing with Gritty all week, and Gritty the only one that know what he's talking about. Tell him, Gritty. Call him a casual, Gritty. Call him a casual, Gritty.
I'm a minute casual when it comes to certain shit.
Yeah. No, Ray Ford is fighting Justin Magdalene on that.
You say what?
I heard they were trying to send. I heard that Albert Bell was trying. Well, he got offers to go to 135, but some reason he just want to stick to 130. So I don't know.
I mean, sometimes you got to take that risk.
Yeah, I know, but he have offers to go to 135, but he's adamant about 130, and he think he's going to get a title shot at 130 sooner than later.
That's a problem then. Look, you're the guy that's not getting fights and you're getting offers. You take the offer. That's a pretty
because he's getting no fight.
Especially when you're 6 feet tall. It's not like 135 is going to be a strong.
That's the whole thing. But I mean, I don't. It is what it is.
I mean, you got to look at O'Shaquie Foster. He was once that guy. Wouldn't get opportunities and got an opportunity and took advantage of it. But also,
O'Shaquie Foster stayed the course. He stayed the course like a motherfucker.
Yeah. And he forced the WBC.
He wasn't
no foul language.
And he forced the WBC too. He made sure the WBC did not bypass him.
That's true.
If Ray Vargas could afford anyone else for the vacant WBC title, he would have.
So is Ray Vargas going back down to fight to defend his title against Figueroa?
So it's going to be up to WBC to order it. So they threatened that was the plan. So again,
I honestly don't think Ray is going down. I really don't think he is. I really don't think so. I really don't.
Yeah. Hello? Any more questions?
I guess there's no more questions. I don't know, man.
You got one?
All this going on in boxing, I ain't got no questions.
I have a ton of questions, but
what was that situation where you sent Dan on the timeline earlier this week?
Wait, say that again.
What was that little situation where you had to send Dan Rayfield to Hal on the timeline earlier this week
I didn't.
for some bullshit he was talking about with Gennady Golovkin.
I did not send him to hell at all.
Come on, Jakey.
You got to do better. I don't tweet it. We don't follow each other.
I think that was Adam. You thinking of
Yeah,
Adam?
I don't tweet at him.
Yeah, that was Adam.
Dan and I run in parallel universes.
Can we talk about one thing that's just absolutely crazy right now? Is Danny Garcia versus Lara.
I'm getting talking about.
I don't know if I should be
Talking about the 155 middleweight championship fight.
Like, this is, come on, man. 160 is about far. Is this the worst that 160s have ever been? Really?
Somebody else
Man,
has to claim to the WBA first before they can make that fight.
Yeah, Jake
Who's
talked
that guy
about
you
that
said?
earlier. Was it Michael?
Well, the problem is that Danny is saying that he has a huge fight. So that's the only huge fight that I see that's right now happening. He's on IG screaming that he has a title shot and it's a huge fight. So I'm sure he's confident that he's fighting Lara. That's all I'm saying.
Everybody claim they got a huge fight or putting.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Not like that. No, they don't.
Everybody.
No, they don't.
Boots every other week. Boots is saying he got something to announce.
No, damn well, don't even have no good resume. What are you talking about?
Always until we see it, then I'm not, or rumblings of it, that I'm not really.
Right.
I hear you, Mo. I hear you, but
Look, last week everyone jumped in my DMs thinking it was going to be Charlo and Danny Jacobs based on Danny Jacobs saying last October, big fight in the near future. Last October.
Exactly.
And that wasn't the fight I was talking about last week when I said that Charlo was going to be in line for a grudge match. It was supposed to be, well, not supposed to be, but Jarrett Hurd was in line to fight Jamal Charlo if he won last week. Obviously he didn't, and about 3 rounds into that fight, I'm like, I don't hope he doesn't win this fight because I don't need to see that fight next.
Oh,
it was all the dream.
So speaking of that, is Garcia and Resendez going to fight next, or is that later down the line?
Wait, Resendez and who?
Garcia and Resendez, the guy that beat Hurd and the guy that just beat Vidal. I heard that they were supposed to be fighting.
That fight would make sense if Charlo doesn't wind up fighting Resendez next.
Yeah, I heard that they actually. Well, I heard that they supposed to be fighting next, but that's why I was wondering: is that really? You know what I mean?
Yeah. That like I said, that would make sense.
So,
but I'm just based on like Montiel.
Yeah.
I think when he knocked out James Kirkland, he wound up fighting Jamal Charlo. Steven Espinosa's on record saying Charlo is going to fight a middling contender. I don't know if that's still true, but if it is, not that Resendez, he's above a middling contender, but he would fit the bill of someone that Charlo would fight next after a 2-year absence.
Yeah, but wouldn't it make more sense that Charlo fight the winner of Garcia and Resendez?
It would, but then how long is Charlo going to be out, and who does he fight next? And they want Charlo to eventually fight.
Why would we not get Charlo versus Lara next? Why not Charlo versus Lara?
They don't want to do that. For some weird reason, they don't want to do that. That's
like a nice unification.
I don't know why. That makes the most logic. If Lara is willing to
until a couple of days ago, it wouldn't have been a unification. So I think as fast as shit change in boxing, one day is something, the next day is another thing. I don't think that we could. It's time to rule that out.
Yeah,
he just relinquished.
I don't know.
Listen, I look at it this way.
Hold on. They used to train together too, so I don't know. What kind of relationship they have, if they're too friendly to fight each other. But no, I'm with you, Lefty. Like I said, now that Lara
don't even speak English. I highly doubt they're friendly with each other.
Some say Charlo don't speak English either. But
you said that. It's not some say. You said that.
But my thing
that
is
on
this,
the record.
I did not say that. My thing is this. There was a time where we didn't see Inoue versus Fulton happening until Inoue decided to move up, and he gauged Fulton's interest. He said, let's make the fight. They did a U-turn. They made the fight. When the opportunity arises, you got to make the fight. This opportunity fell into PBC's lap. Lara's going to be the super champion. GGG vacated. Why not finally make a Charlo unification bout?
Okay, that's what I'm saying, but this is like 2 days ago, so let's see. We're not ruling it out, but you don't expect the fight to be announced 2 days after he relinquished the belt.
Correct.
So, Jake, let me ask you a question. Do anybody know if before they even went through this whole ordeal with Triple Gimmick, did PBC ever offer him another a deal?
I don't know.
Before the,
I just don't know how far talks went. I know PBC gauged
Okay.
interest. Golovkin just, he is where he's at in his career. Again, if he wants these big money fights, why not negotiate like one final 3-fight deal, or even a 2-fight deal?
Right.
So fight Lara for whatever PBC. Get PBC to overspend on a Lara fight, beat him, and then get whatever fight you want out of them. So if they were willing to have Spence fight Canelo at 164, Spence could easily fight, Gennady Golovkin at 160. That would be a massive fight. So I just don't know what Gennady Golovkin is expecting at this stage. I just think he has a ridiculously inflated sense of what he's still worth in the game. I get what he was paid. I get what the zone did.
What?
But he just doesn't have that backing anymore.
But why is it?
He was paid what they felt he was worth. So others feel different. He feels different. I mean, Top Rank even said they had that issue with him. So, all right, go ahead, BB.
I have 2 questions. I'm going to save the controversial one for last and not get removed. Is Fyodor Chikasian in PBC's plans in the near future?
I would. Who? He fought on the Morel Idos Yerbesin card. I know what he's talking about. I thought he was going to fight Charlo Adames or Charlo next, but obviously he's not fighting Adames. I'd have to imagine he's going to pop up on a show soon enough. He's a Warrior. I think he's with Warrior, if I'm not mistaken. So,
no questions about people with more than 10 letters in their last name.
Well, okay. Is there a who and when attached to Edgar Berlenga's Matchroom debut?
I thought it was supposed to be. Oh fuck! Obviously they wanted June 10th, but with Top Rank blocking that date, I think it's going to be June 24th and packaged with the Richardson Hitchens fight, but not 100% certain on that. I don't know who against though.
Is that a New York fight?
I would think so, especially if they're going to push it out another 2 weeks. And I mean, why package them two together if it's not going to be in New York? So I think I know Matchroom, they only have one more fight left with Hitchens, but I think Hitchens will wind up re-signing with them.
Who do you see as potential opponent?
I don't know. I know he's, politely calling out as many people as possible. So he wanted the Montana Love fight. Montana Love wants to fight.
Okay. Let's see. Four Corners, go ahead.
Good morning. Hey, Jake, any news on what's next for Estrada and Chocolatito? Is he retired or is he going to fight again?
Chocolatito is not retired. I heard I don't know if it's a wild rumor, but what's holding up the Christopher Rosales, Felix Alvarado fight is that Chocolatito could wind up fighting one of those two. Not sure how true that is. Estrada, I saw he had some back and forth with Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia seems pretty adamant that once Bam wins the WBO belt, if he beats Christian Gonzalez, which I think he will, that he's going to move right back up and fight Estrada after that. So, and Estrada's at the state, I don't think he's in a hurry to get back in the ring. I don't think he has to get back in April and May, so he could wait out that April 8th date. It's weird because that fight could have just happened next without Bam dropping back down in weight, but I guess he gets the right to say he's a 2-division champ if the Estrada fight is there for him immediately after.
Okay. And then one last thing, is Wilder, you think, in Ngannou, you think that's most likely?
I know there's serious talks, unfortunately. It could happen. I don't think we're going to get Wilder Ruiz. I don't think anyone's going to pay the type of money that, I don't know which side. I'm assuming Ruiz just wants way too much more than anybody's willing to pay. But yeah, it does sadly seem like a reality.
I know there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
So John Jones fights last week, coming off of like a 3-year layoff. When comes to a big fight, I never watch MMA, I ended up watching that one. Do boxing ever see that and be like, damn, if these guys, our competitors, can do that, why are we allowing these fighters like Charlo to come back to nobody? Does that even ripple through the industry when they see that?
Hold on. Let me stop you right there because we have a similar fighter with Spence. He doesn't come back and fight nobody.
No, I understand.
You have Floyd Mayweather come back off a 2-year layoff and fight.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of fighters that come back on a level of a fucking zero game. Don't let the UFC fool you into thinking this guy was better than what he actually was. Now, if he came back and fought Ngannou, then you have a point.
Okay.
But we have plenty of boxers that come back after a long layoff and fight the level of a zero game.
Okay, what I'm saying is that that's the ranking system, And secondly,
Bro,
but secondly, it
they
just
had Conor
happens more
McGregor
often.
come back. This dude was coming off of like 3 losses and fighting title
I
fights.
understand.
Come
I'm
on,
not
man.
a
Don't be
UFC
fooled
fan.
by the
I'm just saying
UFC
it happens
propaganda.
more often in
Because boxing
UFC.
is in a way better space, as we heard Ariel Helwani say this weekend. Boxing is in a way better space than UFC. So I'm not here for the UFC propaganda.
I'm not even a
Go ahead,
UFC
J-Ro.
fan.
Go ahead, J-Ro.
Jake earlier said that Chocolatito might fight either Christopher Rosales or Felix Alvarado. Christopher Rosales did say he would fight Chocolatito. I just want to point out that Rosales and Chocolatito are cousins.
Okay, yeah, that. You're right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that part. It is Rosales. I couldn't remember which one. I knew it was an old Nicaragua fight, but you're right.
But
It is Christopher
Rosales did
Rosales.
say, but Rosales did say he would fight Chocolatito. The money was right, so it is what it is.
Yeah, that Rosales' team has that fight on hold for whatever reason, and Alvarado's team is complicit. So obviously, there's something big up because what the hell?
Who got a phone call?
It's not me.
Okay. Go ahead, Hitman.
Jake, Lefty, how y'all doing on this beautiful Saturday morning?
What's up, man?
So, Jake, I just wanted to ask, is the first time I get to meet you face-to-face, is it going to be at Charlo versus Danny Garcia unification, or is it going to be at the Charlo J-Rock rematch?
What's the next fight you're going
to? I'm thinking about going to the next fight. Is Tszyu and Taylor, is that official in New York?
It's not officially official, but it's Top Rank's plan. Yes.
So if that's the next event in New York, I'll probably go there because I'm gonna be at a New York fight soon.
I got you. All right. That's a possibility.
Yeah, I'll just DM you my number if anything. All right, thanks, guys.
All right, go ahead, Lex.
All right, 2 quickies. Jake, 1, who you got, Harrison or Tszyu? If you weren't already asked.
I'm not going to offer a prediction. I am rooting for Tony Harrison to win by knockout. Yeah, I'm a big Tony Harrison fan. I love that gym. I think he can do it. I think this whole Tszyu soul snatcher stuff has been greatly exaggerated. Harrison, it's just always a risk. You know, at some point he's going to get hit. He just doesn't have a chin. It is what it is. And, for him saying that he's been put through the ringer or whatever, like, you shouldn't look the way you do against someone like Brian Perella if you're all that. I do believe at his best he's, tough for any junior middleweight and should be too much for Tim Tszyu. I just, I just don't know how he's going to react at some point whenever he gets hit, and he will get hit at some point. But I'm rooting for Tony Harrison to win by late round knockout. I'm sorry, mid towards late, not late. I think that the later the fight goes, Tszyu would have the better shot. But I'm going to say like around 8th and 9th. I'm rooting for Harrison to win in 9 rounds or less.
You want that Charlo rematch,
I've always wanted that Charlo fight. To me, that's a sexy fight. And I will say this: we're getting the absolute right fight. I'm glad that Tszyu is not that he's forced to fight Tony Harrison, but it's better that he beats Tony Harrison to get the Charlo fight than if they actually fought in January. This is the way it should have been all along. So Tony Harrison is right in a lot of what he said. That Tim Tszyu, he was just floated all the way to the top. And it is his name, whether Tszyu wants to admit it or not. The WBO clearly wanted to be in that business. That's why they were in a hurry to make him the mandatory. So, and I thought...
But you see, he took the elevator?
Yeah, that Tszyu took the elevator and Tony took the stairs. Yep.
I agree. Go ahead, Grady.
Yeah, I got damn, I forgot my question. My bad. Go let Ron go.
Go ahead, Ron.
Let's get back to 130 real quick. Leo Santa Cruz. I'm hearing that is Leo Santa Cruz fighting Hector Garcia, or is somehow or another they're going to order Lamont Roach to fight Garcia, or is Garcia going back to 130?
I think
what's going on.
If Roach was that hardcore of a mandatory, that the fight would have been ordered already. I think.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get away with letting Garcia get one more voluntary in, especially if it is Leo Santa Cruz.
Yeah, because from my understanding, the Golden Boy was pushing for that mandatory, and it's supposed to be ordered soon. And I was asking that
I'll
question.
ask Gilbertico today about it.
But I also heard that Leo Santa Cruz have a fight coming up, and it's supposed to be like.
Yeah, that would be.
That's why
that would be the only
process
that makes sense. Yep. Because I don't think he's going to fight O'Shaki Floss.
Yeah. So right.
Wait, Leo against who?
You say what?
I didn't get who they said Leo would be fighting against next.
No, I said Leo was coming back to fight for.
If he's fighting Hector Garcia. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Gritty. You ready?
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to know this for a question for anybody who heard anything, but have we heard any news on Robert Easter?
No.
Is he coming back? Since he got shot, he just disappeared off the
Yeah,
map.
I have no clue what's going on with him. I've not heard any updates.
Yeah, I haven't either. All right, go ahead.
I could just ask him.
Have you heard anything on Michael Hunter's next
No,
opponent?
I have not. I know. So Boxer, I think I have an idea of what Boxer's next announcement is going to be. I don't know if Michael Hunter is going to be a part of it. I don't even know if he's still with Boxer at this point. But yeah, he's another very, very strange career.
Is the BLK Prime money open for Michael Hunter?
I don't think BLK is open.
Let me tell you something. We're gonna wrap this up after a hit, man, because if we ask about Michael Hunter, that means we scraping the bottom of the barrel by now.
Yeah, we reaching right now.
Michael Hunter's one of my
Michael
favorite
Hunter,
fighters.
Robert Easter, we reaching.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Make it a good one.
VV, I heard Michael Hunter might be fighting Joseph Parker next. Is the last thing I heard.
Yeah, that's a real good fight if he's fighting Joseph Parker. Yeah.
And it was still a boring fight between two jabronis, but anyway, any word on the Bronze Bomber and the Ghost Frank Martin? What do we know what's next for them? Any potential comeback updates?
They are not fighting each other.
Thank you.
Well, I would hope
No,
not.
I know. No,
I mean,
you
shit,
see that on
we had
Undisputed.
some people thinking Zepeda was fighting Boots, so we got to be clear.
Right, that is a good point. Yeah, no, it does seem like I know Wilder and Ngannou aren't talking. So yeah, look that.
Oh shit, they are.
Yeah, that's Ngannou. I think it was. I don't know if Ngannou said it or Eddie said it or whoever, but they did acknowledge that whatever talks Ngannou was having to entering boxing, that the most serious talks have been with Deontay Wilder's camp. And that's Deontay is in the Middle East. He with Shelly Finkel, they was looking for possible locations for his next fight out there. I know Eddie Hearn is going around saying nobody could do business without him, but we just saw Jake Paul and Tommy Fury do business out there. So obviously you can't do business without him.
That's true. That's true. All right, Ty, you got something? We're gonna wrap it up.
Yeah, what's going on, Jake?
What's up?
I just got in late. Is my man gonna stop a Golden Boy or what?
Yeah, we did.
A little bit.
There's a relationship there. I don't know if he's going to sign or just work alongside them, but I do believe his next fight will be a Golden Boy promoted event, especially if it's the Rocha fight.
Well, on the zone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we would have if we should hear something this week, right?
Yes.
Because tomorrow is a week before the. Why would they set a press bid on a end date on a Sunday? Was that a mistake because of February?
No, I just think they did, the 20-day deadline or whatever. Sometimes they default to that Monday, but I mean, they ordered for the third time when they ordered Janovic and Jaime Munguia. That was it was the Sunday before Thanksgiving. I remember because I was going for a walk, not expecting any news to fucking pop up, and then sure enough, that fight pops up on 3 o'clock on a Sunday. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Jake, pick a number 1 through 31.
Okay.
I mean 1 through 28.
1 through 28. I'm gonna pick 26.
26.
Yeah, 6 to my birthday.
The winner is. The winner is Cincinnati dude. 876. Yeah, the winner is EMPRYL, my guy from Cincinnati. Right. So hit me up. And you get a free $5 bet. Let me DM right now. And that is the show.
All right.
Anybody got anything they want to plug?
Well, got something supposed to be scheduled later today with heavyweight contender Jermaine Franklin,
nice.
But we'll see. Kind of disappointed that the Golovkin Lara bid is not on Monday. Then that would have been a good birthday thing for me, but oh well. Anyway, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm upset we can't see two Wash guys fight.
Okay. All right, y'all take it easy, man. Get y'all bets in today.
Harrison decision.
Oh yeah,
y'all.
hit me up. I'm telling $100 3-day parlays, guaranteed winner.
Yeah. I think I'm about to do a
Harrison
betting.
decision, y'all. Do the right thing.
I think I'm
Speaking
gonna do a
into
betting
$100,
space, Freddie,
parlays.
because I need some help on this Harrison fight. So I'm gonna do a betting space in a few. Because I need somebody to help me with this Harrison fight. I don't know how to bet it. All right, y'all.
Yeah, I got you.
Yep.
Thanks,
Peace.
Yep.